my recycle bin is damaged. What do I do? Well, you're still going to be able to send files to the recycle bin, even if it appears full. You're not going to be able to view the contents of the recycle bin, and you also won't be able to empty it. So the way you deal with this is your user needs to delete the recycled folder and restart Windows. If they know where that $recycle for them is, they can actually delete it. Now what will happen is as soon as you delete it, what will happen is it'll regenerate itself. It's kind of like trying to kill off the Explorer process. It's always going to pop back up, and then they can go on from then. Now, if you want to reclaim damaged files from the recycle bin, what you do is you actually make a copy of the recycled /desktop.ini. Yes, we still have INI files. Into a separate folder and delete all the contents from the recycle folder. Then you delete all the recycle bins, and then you restore the desktop INI, and it will pop up again, and so you'll get those files back. That's for an end user. We don't care about that as a forensics expert. But if we see that that recycler has been deleted and we see that information, we know that they're actually going through the process of restoring, and they know about the recycle bin. What happens if the partition is deleted? Well, dynamic disk, volumes deleted, any kind of corruption on this disk, we say we're going to image at the bit level. We're going to do a bit copy, and we'll file carve and see that for ourselves. End users are going to do something different. They're going to try and recover those partitions. If they delete them, we'll find them because they just delete the partition and all the data sits there. And if no new partition is created in that area, that data sits there for us to get to anytime we want, as long as it's not an encrypted volume. So when we look at this, we say, we can evaluate and extract deleted partitions, and we want to pull that data back. That's good for us because they think it's gone and they're fine. And when we recover those partitions, we use all the normal recovery partition tools that are out there as an end user. Now, I want to talk about the one that I care about that has helped me out a lot. So when you are an end user, not a forensics expert, you want to use a tool that will get you back those partitions. I also use this tool to image machines and turn them into VMware, and that's the first one on the list here, Acronis Recovery Expert. This is not a cheap tool, but when you need to recover partitions or you need to copy from one RAID set to another, Acronis can help you out. There are plenty of other tools out there. This is just the one that I use. Whatever you use, tell me. All right, now, I can't thank Timothy enough for this because this is really excellent for you and I feel a lot better that I know about the shadow volume. Now, there's something called the Volume Shadow Copy Service that creates the shadow volume. You may know of this in previous versions of the operating system as the system restore points. It's very easy and elegant, and it's very close to what the current control sets are, but this is on a data level and a registry level to a whole order of magnitude more data is left behind for us. Okay, so the shadow volume is a copy of the key data that is used to recover the system from an unstable state to a previous state. So like if you had a virus attack or incorrect installation of software or hardware, you could roll back to a previous state. You can get to those previous versions. You can even get to the previous versions of files in some cases. Not all cases, but in some cases. This file, this volume shadow copy that is there for you, is reported by Microsoft as much larger than it actually is. Now it's 2 to 4% of the volume size. So whatever your volume is, if it's 100 gigs, then you've got somewhere between 2 and 4 gigs. Well, to me, for restoring to a previous state, that's plenty. And for me, any kind of files or data that I actually deleted that I want to recover, that's probably plenty for in most cases, because it's just those files and folders that I've specifically said, hey, I want to get restored versions of them. Now, how you change this size, you can actually key in and change this size by issuing this particular command. Okay, so when is a shadow created and when is it done again? So new install software, when we go in and we double click the executable for the install, the system goes, wait, hold on a second. Let me capture all the statistics that are going on right now at this particular time. I'm going to capture all that stuff and I'm going to put it back here. That's one time. Or you can say, I want a system restore point. The user can assert, I want to do that. Or when a new driver is installed, I want to do that. A lot of new drivers are installed when we plug in our new USB drive. And so that generates the volume shadow. Okay, so what's there? Well, one of the key directories that gets copied as a part of the volume shadow is the $recycle.bin. That gives us some deleted information that we really could use about the user. So now let's talk about the implication here, and this is the big deal. If this shadow copy was made of the recycle bin data prior to the recycle bin being emptied, it's a pretty good chance because people never pay attention to it, then it's still possible to recover the recycle bin from the shadow volume, and let's go back, if one of these activities has occurred. New software, new drivers for new hardware, or a restore point asserted by the end user. So any of those activities might give us a nice big chunk of data that we can use to go back and pin a user to a particular activity. Okay, so how do we get this data? Well, we got to take a couple of steps here, and I'm just going to share the high-level steps with you. So first off, you have to figure out if the shadow volume is present on the system. And so you type in VSS admin list shadows. And this is what the output looks like. Notice in the middle here in red, the shadow copy volume is, little question mark there to obfuscate, global root device hard disk volume shadow copy 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, however many there are at that point. That allows us to actually get to that particular set of files by doing something called make link or mklink/d, and you have to know that full path, so you had to copy it out of that output that you got from the VSS admin. That will allow you to link to a particular folder that you can then expose all that data, reveal that, and help you on your forensic path to winning your case. Now, there's tons more information on the shadow volume trash document, and you can put that in quotes in your search engine, and it will pop up with Timothy's paper. I really thank him a lot for that. There's a lot more data there. I think it's about a 10-page paper. So what we found out is that dumpster diving in the recycle bin is very, very rewarding. The end user is going to try and delete these things, and you're going to have an easy time of getting them back in most cases.